The final weekend of the United Soccer League regular season, and Louisville City know they are the East's #2 team tonight. Very October-like weather at Slugger Field. Home to Louisville City, the reigning USL Cup champions, and the USL's likely Golden Boot winner and the record holder, 24 goals in this season, leading the #1 offense in the United Soccer League. Tonight's pregame brought to you by Four Roses Bourbon as Indy 11 on the road with playoff seeding still very much important for them on the night. With Matt Stubbington alongside Mike Watts with you, we look at what the Eastern Conference bracket would look like right now. With one result earlier today, Ottawa eliminated. It would be Louisville-Nashville if the result stood, but well, we don't know how this bottom four shakes out.
On the bottom four, we have no clue about. The top four we do, that's set in stone. The one thing we are certain of is that Indy 11 will not want to face Cincinnati, Louisville City, or Pittsburgh Riverhounds in the first round. They'll want to win this evening to guarantee that 4-5 matchup as it sits with Charleston.
So right now they'd be on their way to South Carolina, and if you think about how Louisville is sitting right now, Cameron Lancaster really started this great goal-scoring form at last year's USL Cup final with the game-winning goal, but this year something special.
Really is something special. This started with the movement back of Greg. That strong-footed the defense, and then Cameron Lancaster, he just took advantage. And then he does the little things as well, the movement in the box, finishing the simple chances. Just a fantastic way he plays the game of soccer in and around the 18.
Yeah, find yourself a man who can do both, as they say. Frioze, maybe the best outside back in USL?
I would say there's some that would argue against it, but for my money, he certainly is in the running for it. He's got magic in the left boot, wonderful vision, can deliver the ball on a sixpence, and just is a great player to have on your team, and not a very nice player to play against, especially when he can do things like that from the set piece.
Jose has dealt with some injuries this year, but he's ready to go here tonight with a lot on the line for Indy 11. So, the long-awaited third edition in the USL of the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association Football Contest. Louisville, the #1 offense in the United Soccer League, at home one more time before the playoffs begin. And for Indy, is it going to be a repeat trip, or will they head to Charleston? We'll find out over the next 90 minutes after this.
Make it full of adventure. Make it versatile. Make it stylish. Make it safe. Make it RAV4. The 2018 Toyota RAV4 is built for the weekend escape. That's why it's the best-selling small SUV in America. And now during the RAV4 clearance event, there's never been a better time to get a great deal on a new RAV4. Get $2,250 cash back or lease one for just $209 a month. Now during the RAV4 clearance event, make it RAV4 today. Toyota, let's go places.
At Dr. Mark Lennon Associates, I focus on taking care of my family, but I also focus on taking care of your family. We firmly believe that you've got to give back. Our primary goal is to do what's right for the patient. If that means glasses, contacts, or treating an eye condition, we will be sure you get the care that you need. We want to take care of you the same way we take care of all our family. This is our family. And here at Dr. Mark Lennon Associates, we're focused on your family, the community, and most importantly, your vision.
There's a reason everyone around here complains about allergies. They're bad. But family allergy and asthma can build up your immunity to what makes you miserable, ending your suffering for good. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family allergy and asthma.
Today we're here to talk about trucks.
I love trucks.
Well, what truck brand comes from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road?
I think it's the Chevy.
Ford.
It's not Ford.
I think it's Ram.
It's not Ram either.
It's Chevy.
Gorgeous.
Get a total value of $10,000 when you finance with GM Financial. That's 20% below MSRP on this Chevy Silverado. Kentucky Drive Chevy. Find new roads.
What does it mean to believe in something? To truly support and get behind it? To be committed and invested in making sure it succeeds and grows? At First Financial Bank, we go beyond banking, providing resources for dreams that matter and giving back to projects that make a difference. As our family grows, our commitment to serve the community grows with it. First Financial Bank, because together, we're better.
Complaining about your allergies won't make them go away, but calling Family Allergy and Asthma can. We offer the most effective treatments available to help you find relief. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Players marching onto the field for the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. We welcome you into tonight's broadcast presented by GE Appliances, Louisville City and Indy 11. As we meet the starting lineups, we begin with the Louisville City lineup, which is presented by UPSJobs.com.
Well, it's a strong lineup. It's one that we were wondering whether the star up top would be playing or not, whether Spencer would get a run out this evening. He's on the sub bench, but it certainly is a strong lineup for John Hackworth tonight. For the visitors, one player that isn't in the lineup and is not on the bench is Starikov. He will be missed, but when you've got McInerney, who scored twice last time these two teams met, it's certainly a good lineup for Indy 11 tonight.
It'll be interesting to see if Watson drops in, if Maris moves forward, if McInerney plays wide. There's a lot of ways this could all look. Tonight's keys to the game, they're powered by Kentucky Lottery. Remind you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar, Matt, of the popular Keys Scholarship Program.
Well, for the home team, you got to make sure that you press high. When you got a player like Iozzi on the pitch, you don't want to have him being allowed to have the time and space that he can utilize on the ball. So it'd be very key for the likes of Ownby and McCabe to make sure he doesn't get any space on the ball. John Hackworth also wants his team to keep the momentum, keep improving, keep moving forwards. And then for the visitors, Martin Rennie kept talking about his team, managing the game tonight, the conditions, the way that they play against the opposition is just manage the game. If it feels like if they're able to do that, they have a good chance of being successful on the road.
Greg Ranjitsingh leading this Louisville lineup that, as you mentioned, maybe puts out their best possible 11, Matt, in this game. Where we see McCabe and Davis is going to be interesting. How Illich and Lancaster play together are going to be interesting.
And these are partnerships that John Hackworth is wanting to develop going into postseason. Certainly Illich, with his 10 assists on the season, will be key with the way he combines with Lancaster. And the one part of the lineup that arguably would be in there, it would be Speedy Williams, but he's on international duty, so that's a change in the midfield. That's why we're wondering where Davis IV and McCabe line up tonight.
Craig Dopka's going, fellas, let's get it going.
Enough of this huddle. You've been around each other all season.
Come on. Yeah, that's right. It is 50 degrees at kickoff in Louisville. I-65 and I-64 have a bit of construction and a bit of traffic that's resulted in a lot of fans just making their way into the park right now. As Cameron Lancaster wants to get going. What an incredible goal he scored. You talked about it in the pregame, Matt, how Paco Craig drops it off and sort of drew some people across, and Paco said after the game, let's just give Cam a shot. Let's see how it goes. And yet again, as John Hackworth called it, a moment of brilliance. And Cameron Lancaster, where will he be next year? I think a lot of people are just worried what the next potential 5 games look like for him. If he scores at the rate he has, Louisville could be back-to-back champions.
Certainly could. He's a dangerous player, one that nobody in the USL wants to play against. And just his instincts are tremendous. I mean, you look at the goal that he scored to break the record. Paco Craig delivers the pass as he's dropping back to get the ball to feet, continue his run. The defense then back off, but Lancaster has that sixth sense to know that he then has the time and space to turn, and then has that no-look vision, if you like, to just pick out the upper left-hand corner with no backlift and a lot of power on the shot.
Owain Von Williams took his time. Greg Dopka shouting the other way. Lancaster has the ball in hand. Where will Indy be seated? Louisville knows where they're seated. They don't know who they'll play. And such are the stakes of this final regular season match for Indy 11 and Louisville City. It's the 3rd regular season meeting of the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest, and we're underway at Slugger Field in Kentucky.
The first question we had coming in to the game was whether McCabe or George Davis IV would be partnering Del Piccolo as the holding midfielder. It looks like McCabe is actually slotted in as Davis IV went up the pitch.
And Jitsing a goal kick. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Del Piccolo. There's Smith. Snipped away. Illich in pursuit. This will bounce off of Davis. It is interesting talking about what Illich has done of late within the context of George Davis just had his 200th appearance. Kyle Smith crossing 100 appearances with the club. And Cameron Lancaster breaking the single season scoring record. It's been overshadowed a bit.
Quietly going about his business, and he's in some pretty lofty heights with the 10 assists, and the 11 goals on the season. A version of the double-double in the USL.
Watson wins a corner for Indy 11. Double-double that had only been done once previously USL before this year, and then an explosion of offense. All of a sudden, a bunch of players have done it. Aiden Quinn did it in Orange County. A guy Louisville fans are very familiar with. Manuel Ledesma at Cincinnati has done it too. So it is a corner for Indy in the opening 2 minutes. And that's an easy catch for Greg Ranjitsing.
I'd say keep it quiet about Ledesma, but he's not been quiet about the way he's gone about his business.
Illich. A bit of pressure. Smith. There's Alexis Sawahi. Sawahi on it now. Louisville 5 wins on the bounce since a 4-game winless streak. Largely eliminating questions of how John Hackworth would be received, how the club would play with their eyes on a new system. Jimenez. Ownby. Ownby trying to roll it up the line, bodies everywhere. Gets as far as Del Piccolo. Illich trying to drop back. Well, Louisville's got a bit of a firmer grip on the ball now. Smith. McCabe taken away. Matern has it stripped. Smith, Davis cutting it across the grain, and that's kicked out. There's a lot of room there for Kevin Venegas. I'm not sure he knew that. It'll be a corner for Louisville.
Venegas certainly wasn't taking any chances. A little bit of indecision from Noah McCabe. Wasn't sure whether he wanted to dribble into the attacking third or pass the ball off. He keeps the ball alive though. Smith playing the ball in. Nice turn from Davis the fourth. The shot was disappointing. As I say, Venegas had more time than he realized. He was worried that Ownby was lurking.
Oscar Jimenez. 10 assists on the year. He won't be a double-double guy unless he manages 9 goals today. I fall a hair short. Lancaster at the goal line, and a stack at the penalty spot. Greg Dopka is trying to sort out. Sawahi's been a major target of late, so is Paco Craig, 3 and 5. Jimenez, Sawahi tried to back set, and Cameron Lancaster whistled for a foul right on the goal line. He got dumped, but I guess the foul happened about 8 yards away from there.
I'll assume so. I was keeping my eyes on the scrum, so I didn't really see what happened to Lancaster. To look up and see him in his familiar long sit of why is the whistle not gone against?
Trouble here. McInerney dispossessed, and I think there's a bit of miscommunication there, Craig and Ranjitsing. McInerney, incredible goal scorer. He's done it against Louisville too. He's done it here at Slugger Field.
2 goals last time these two teams met.
Away from Iose, and he took a hard tumble. Another look here.
a late whistle, so I'm not sure whether the foul's been called or not. The ball was well away from Ayoze. The trailing leg. If George Shavers the fourth got Ayoze, I'd be surprised if there isn't a foul called, but hopefully number 7 will be okay. So Martin Rennie will not want to be without Ayoze going into postseason.
Martin Rennie saying that Ayoze is a different level of player, that he provides a bit of variability to what he brings to the table, but also unparalleled level professionalism, how he takes care of his body. And at the tender age of 32, after the last handful of years with the New York Cosmos, he's found a home in Indy. And you're right, it was that trailing leg. There's Martin Rennie in the foreground, rather the background, I suppose, closer to the field.
He's wearing the gray.
Yes. Rennie, 43 years old in his first season leading Indy 11. I don't know if the spray feels good or not in 50-degree weather. I don't know if it ever feels good.
I don't think it ever feels good. Once it starts to take effect, it does help, but as he has to leave the field of play, this doctor is indicating that he doesn't want to step to the sideline. It does appear that a free kick has been awarded to the visitors, though.
And Dylan Maris stands by the ball. He played at Louisville for 3 years. Missed the 2011 season for the Cardinals. Does mean he played with Paolo Del Piccolo in his freshman year, Louisville in 2012. Maris to put it in play. Ranjitsingh backing in. Would have been on target had he not snatched that.
I like the delivery on that. Good curving ball. Made life difficult for Ranjitsingh. The goalkeeper made a good job of the footwork to get back to his goal line. But there was an onrush of white shirts coming in towards the keeper.
Throw for Indy. Well, Matt, we got a chance to speak with both coaches during the week, and part of the discussion with John Hackworth is whether or not the process outweighs the fact that you've already decided where you're going to be in the standings. The lineup would certainly say they're trying to keep that momentum. I think coming into the game, you felt like that was the right call as well.
I believe so.
Menez-driven ball.
Certainly you could rotate players in, which John Hackworth has tried to do throughout his tenure here in Louisville City. But the team is playing so well at the moment, you don't want to mess with that. I mean, it's the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's more to that. It's trying to just keep the momentum. It's not.
Wow, Illich got a touch to that. Lancaster tried to knock it back with his heel. Hits a corner. They were considering having Illich play up front, bringing Lancaster off in the last game, and Danny Cruz was asking why they hadn't done that. And John Hackworth said, you need to watch these two play together. They almost came up with something spectacular.
That was good work there. And everybody was anticipating the shot on target there from Lancaster. He had other ideas, and a fortunate deflection there that put that one out for the corner.
And Menez headed back across, and Swahi watches that glide over the byline.
Illich and Lancaster have a good partnership, and it helps that Illich making those darting runs from the hole behind Lancaster, making the best use of the space that's made available because the attention is on the number 9.
Illich. This ball hit on the volley by Ownby. Came out of nowhere for that. Good save by Juan Fawn Williams.
That's one player who's trying to get his game legs underneath him. He's come in, played 90 minutes of late.
Illich is taking it away, striding forward. Omby arriving, cutting it across. And Indy's defense is there again, a defense that's without Carlisle Mitchell, their primary right center back, who would have been right in that spot.
That's an example of what Omby needs to get better as he serves into the box. That one was better, but it needed to be pulled along the 6 a little bit more.
Ball falls kindly, Smith crossing. Omby heads it down, O-line fun. Williams dives to the side and steers it away. Brian Omby with a newly shaved head, firing that off just inside the post.
Well, this is a wonderful ball across. Smith just standing the ball up. Look at the hang time. Pure athleticism from Omby. Coming inside, beating the player, his defender to the ball. It's a good header, a powerful header, a fine save from Williams.
Love it, Kyle. Well, that's one of the big stories coming into this game is how Brian Omby is going to play going into the playoffs. He dealt with injuries all year long, and to be frank, there was a little lack of transparency with what exactly the injuries were. It was bit of a moving target. And now that he's finally getting some starting minutes again, and John Hackworth, the head coach, came in mid-season, has been pretty clear that he views Omby as one of the better offensive weapons, despite the entire lack of statistic this year. It does appear they're trying to find the right role for him right before the playoffs.
There's no question of Omby's ability, his athleticism, his technical gift on the ball. He's one of those players that tends to run faster with the ball at his feet than not.
Davis, good cut. Iose stalks him toward the box and does take it back.
The only thing that's lacking with Omby at the moment is just that finished product inside the attacking third. Last time I watched Louisville play, just getting forwards a lot, but his crosses weren't quite on the money. We've already seen it tonight. His shot from the top of the 18, goalkeeper was right there. Omby probably last year would have tucked that one away. The header was not an easy chance, but he put it on target. It was a fine save. But then the serve into the box along the 6 wasn't quite where it needed to be. So these are things that Omby needs to improve and is improving. Feels to me as though he's got his heels up a little bit tonight, ready to really try and put his best foot forward and find a way to get on the stat sheet, either with an assist or a goal of his own.
Craig. And Justin Braun will take over. Watson on playing back. This Indy 11 team won 5 of their first 7 on the road. Incredible numbers. Really, in hindsight, the reason why they're in the playoffs. But since then, it's been a real struggle. They're 5, 6, and 5 on the road now this year. Drops down to McInerney. Paco Craig covers from behind. And a corner's coming for Indy 11.
That's what Iose gives you. For the first time in the 11, find number 7 on this left flank and just drops the ball on a dime over the top of the Louisville back line. McInerney with nice touch. Paco Craig had to get back quickly to deflect the ball out.
Iose at his best, dead ball situations. Iose curling, header, saved away from the line, and the follow is wide right. Is that Kyle Smith at the goal line who kept that out?
I wasn't sure whether Smith or McKay. Whoever it was thought the ball was out.
You're right, Niall.
And he actually came back. He wasn't stood on the goal line. Retreated to the goal line as the ball went across. Davis, the 4th, indicated the ball went out on the delivery from Iose. Thankfully for Lou City and Ranjitsingh, McCabe was wary to it. Makes his own save off of the goal line.
This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Republic Bank. Smith nods that upfield. McCabe in pursuit. Davis is gesturing back at Dopka. Toward McInerney, brought down by Sawahi. Louisville, the #2 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs, which begin here at Slugger Field next weekend. Indy 11 could be the opponent if Louisville wins. And then there's a couple other items that have to occur to move them from 5 to 7 in the East. A bunch of scores we'll be keeping an eye on. Ownby races in, takes it away, bouncing ball. Ownby, follow. Nothing there for Illich. Zoan Fon Williams did enough. It's knocked back in front. Lancaster, a sidestepping touch. This time Fon Williams is on it.
Jose gets helped to his feet by his teammates, and well they might. This is an important touch right here from Jose with the left foot to put it out of the 6. And Lancaster wasn't able to control the ball that came back in from Ownby.
McInerney falls to ground. Watson, good turn. And play will come back. It looked like advantage initially. Watson seemed to have been fouled as well. And McInerney still down. It is a free kick for an extraordinary set-piece team in Indy 11.
Scored some brilliant goals all season long from the set pieces. You got Jose with his left foot. Highlighted time and time again. McInerney, like Paco Craig, got his arm across the face of McInerney. That's why 99 went to the ground, but perhaps a little too soft. The referee looked like he was allowing advantage to be played and saw that McInerney was holding his face, had to stop play because of the potential head injury.
Can't go wrong here. McInerney or Iose. They've both scored some all-world goals. Maris will drop into the wall. McInerney strides up. Well, that's not all-world.
Should have left it for Jose.
Well, McInerney, 10 goals on the year. And we'll add to the tally there. Hey, fans, don't forget the 2018 USL Cup Final will air this year on ESPN2. It'll be November 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Site to be determined. #1 team that remains in terms of points will host the final. McInerney knocks this ball back at Sawahi's on the ground. He's still a little banged up.
I think we're going to get some stoppage time at the end of this first half.
Yeah, but the next guy McInerney steps away from will be the first. It's not his style.
Tangle of arms there as the players came down. The elbow of McInerney rubbed in the face of Suahi. Everybody seems to be okay.
It's amazing that McInerney is still only 26, a native of Chattanooga, Tennessee, that's played 8 years in MLS. Signed as a teenager. Being drafted by Philadelphia Union. Some time in LA, time in Portland. Just seemed like there was always one guy ahead of him that kept him from getting that opportunity to take the shirt full time. Ownby. Flex back, Illich in pursuit. This will ricochet off of Illich and right to Zoan Fon Williams.
Ownby had a little bit more time than he realized. Venegas was struggling athletically to match Ownby. So Ownby perhaps could have taken the number 22 on 1v1 and got deeper inside the box.
Well, this has been a pretty tightly refereed match so far. Smith fires the ball down. Scoreless Slugger Field in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville and Indy 11 meeting in a rivalry that's so good it needs 6 words to describe it. Tapped away by Nico Matern. There's Maris. And Watson. Watson unimpeded. Plays Matern now. Numbers into the box for Indy 11. Matern goes down just outside the penalty area. It's a free kick for Indy 11.
It's a clumsy challenge there from Smith. Didn't get himself set defensively. It just stabs at Matern. Not a good challenge at all. Watching the central area of the pitch, Illich was coming back a long way defensively. Piccolo and McCabe further up the field as the midfielders. I think that those two players will be tracking back a little bit more diligently.
Iose will stride away. He still could be a target here. You got to close him down if the ball comes toward him. Put in play, and Ranjitsingh will grab this as Maris steered it inside the 6.
Services have not been the best from Indy 11. There was one of them, an earlier free kick from Maris from further out that was dangerous, but off of the corners and the other set pieces, they have not been at the standard that they need.
Ownby. Way by Rainier Ferreira. And Menez jumps up, clean play, intercepted, pursuit of the counter. Craig, Smith. McCabe, too high for Lancaster. Watson, a header. McInerney pursues. Diagonal wasn't able to unsettle Indy 11.
Look at the way Smith and Davis IV are playing on this right flank. It's forcing Iose to play more defensively than he probably would like.
Smith, too high for Lancaster. Collected by Moses. Brought down from Maris. Spent the last 2 years at Miami FC after being one of those Indy 11 originals. There's Maris still working forward, the native of Indiana. And he flies to ground. A yellow card coming. Goes to Del Piccolo, who missed the last game with a yellow card accumulation suspension.
And just a clumsy challenge, this time from Del Piccolo. Maris getting ahead of steam up, trying to tiptoe through the tulips. Del Piccolo just turns his back, can't do that. Gets flat-footed, needs to set himself better to change his direction. That's an easy call for the yellow card for my money.
Never seen physicality like that in a tulip patch before. Still having words here. Greg Dobka, it's not necessarily been bad or good refereeing. It's just been right down the line. The rules are the rules with Greg Dobka so far.
It's been pretty consistent. That's what you want as a player and as a coach. As long as you're consistent, you know what you're dealing with.
It's just been tight.
Yeah, and that can be frustrating, but you know, like in baseball, if the strike zone is big or small,
that's what it is.
It is what it is, just as long as it doesn't change from one team to the other.
Iose, Ranjitsingh Gets a swipe to that. Shot is wide. Rainier Ferreira was at the back post. It deflected on the way. The net was open. Corner, Indy 11.
Well, this ball surprised me as much as it did Ranjit Singh, because the initial flight of the ball right there, I thought Ranjit Singh was going to get that easily. And then last moment, it just spun away from the goalkeeper, and he was just flailing in midair. One should have been on target, one coming back in, but it was deflected out.
Jose to take the ensuing corner after his previous free kick. Has played La Liga. Jose, oh, that's a tough punch. Ranjit Singh. Ombi, flighted ball. Moses running into Jimenez. Jimenez and Ombi able to keep it. Flicked ahead. And El Piccolo onto the foot of Kevin Venegas, but turned over. Illich. Illich squaring it up. Davis off the post. Great save. Owain Fawn Williams. He did just enough. And now the dangerous back pass. McInerney! Regrettable for Indy 11. Could have, should have been the moment for Indy 11. In the 28th minute, somehow after all of that, it's still 0-0.
Well, two terrible errors defensively on both ends of the pitch. You see Venegas' reaction. It was 3v2. Illich picks out the right pass. Fawn Williams with great footwork gets across. That's a wonderful save. And on the other end of the pitch, Paco Craig didn't touch that effort, but he did just enough to put McInerney off. And Venegas and Smith will be both breathing a sigh of relief that their teams didn't concede a goal.
Martin Rennie is shouting back to the fourth official. I think he wants the throw. Smith will settle for moving a couple feet back. Great replays, by the way, by Jared Valentin, whose passion for the USL, we've heard, is only exceeded by his passion for bike rides and Marvel heroes. Village still. A turn. Maris. Some space here for Braun. Venegas will have to move back. Settle for a Venegas throw. Last year was with Minnesota United. Craig goes flying towards the stands. Braun. Ombi throws his foot out. Lancaster has done really well to keep this in play. Slid away from McCabe and a quick throw. Ombi against Ferreira. Ombi putting out some moves. Ferreira physically imposing himself. Jimenez skies into the air. And Fawn Williams will grab it out in front of Davis.
Ferreira did well.
Long flighted ball. Foul. McInerney goes down. I think there's some question as to what's what now for Sawahi and for McInerney.
It happened outside the box. Sawahi is a really lucky boy that Paco Craig is in the picture. Otherwise, he'd be going to the locker room. It's a definite yellow card, and it has been awarded to Sawahi. Silly foul. Inexperience again from the central defender of Lou City. We've seen moments like that all season long. It's the only downside to his game.
Sawahi was first seen by Daniel Bird, former assistant for Louisville. Started to have conversations with him and with coaches at Bowling Green State. And one of the few additions to this Louisville team after they won the USL Cup last year. His goal was to be Rookie of the Year. He'll have to settle for 18 starts and 3 goals and over 1,500 minutes played, but he does have a red card, a couple of rookie mistakes along the way.
Return put the ball down. Iose claimed it from him. So, be interested to see who fights over this one for Indy 11. Well, McInerney is in the picture as well. He certainly wants some redemption after his last effort.
Dobka explaining the finer points. McInerney on the left, Iose on the right. Ranjitsingh in goal. It is McInerney. Well, much better, but the result the same. A goal kick for Louisville City. The crowd, a bit of a jeer to McInerney, who's shown his teeth to Louisville in matchups past. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Sullivan University. We'll take a look at what the East looks like right now. Ottawa has been eliminated. There's only one spot left. So Bethlehem or North Carolina will make up the other half of all this.
Bethlehem don't play until tomorrow afternoon against the Rowdies. That'll be a really interesting game.
Well, it might be a really interesting game. Maybe a largely irrelevant game. We're going to find out. Boy, the Rowdies have to be the disappointment of the USL season. Illich keeping still. Illich goes down, a penalty. Well, he just continued to hold on. Ouimet is showing that perhaps he caught his feet up in the grass. It is a penalty.
Illich just couldn't get control of the ball. There's Maris with a trailing back foot. The clip, the heel of Illich.
I may want to see that again as well in a bit of a slower way. I think Martin Rennie probably going to take a look at this sooner than later as well. The fourth official getting an earful. Cameron Lancaster looking for number 25. Lancaster against Fawn Williams. Lancaster scores. An exclamation point to his Golden Boot season. This goal presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery. 71 goals this year by Louisville City, 25 from Cameron Lancaster.
Well, there are questions about the awarding of the penalty. But there are no questions about the finish with the right foot from Cameron Lancaster. Fawn Williams sent the wrong way. And the 11 will feel that they were hard done by. Did Maris clip the heels of Illich or not? Certainly it was questionable. Certainly it looked soft. Either way the whistle went. Lancaster, with 24 goals to his name up to that point, is going to take every advantage to make it 25 on the season. A little surprised that it was Lancaster, not Illich, taking the kick. But then when you've got 24 goals, you have every right to claim the ball. Mr. Dobka coming over and talking to the coaches of Indy 11, trying to settle things down.
Well, had to ask John Hackworth about Lancaster's situation moving forward. He is out of contract at the end of the year, and they have, of course, started chatting a bit with him about what a return could look like in 2019. But if I scored 25 goals, I'll certainly explore a bit before I make any rash decisions. I think any player comes to Louisville and does really well. Mark Anthony Kaye, for example, gives you someone to look at it at the next level, to be excited about. And well, in some ways, that's Louisville's job to make the best out of players. And guys like Lancaster and Kaye needed the venue. Louisville's given it.
USL, it is not a development league by any stretch, but it is a league that players can develop in and play top-class soccer. And in doing so, they do get the opportunities at the next level.
I mean, no one's looking at League One and saying, you know, in France and saying, yeah, well, there's 19-year-olds playing there.
Yeah, they have to stay.
Yeah, right. Wow, brilliant stuff. Maris. Grant Jitsing's got his hand going up and off his head saying, well, use your head. Everyone had fallen asleep a bit.
Well, they fell asleep on the initial ball that played out to Maris, but credit to the boys in purple. Once they woke up, they got back in numbers. There wasn't a white shirt inside the penalty area between the penalty spot and Greg Jetsing.
Service off the head of We Met. With Braun on the goal line, and Jitsing has it under control. Louisville felt like their win against North Carolina last time out really did have a playoff feel to it. Certainly had that kind of importance. North Carolina FC. Ayoze won over by George Davis IV. And you ask John Hackworth the importance of this game to Louisville. Sort of said, as professionals, we didn't feel like we put our best product out against North Carolina. And every time this team has been challenged, it feels like they've found another gear. So they're certainly trying to find it here on the night against Indy 11 on the eve of the playoffs.
I don't think John Hackworth would say that his team has played their best football for a full 90 minutes yet. Even in this game, we've seen some moments of brilliance, and we've seen the team just fall asleep defensively.
That's the biggest question coming in. Good throw, Ownby laying it across. Looking for Illich. Brought down for Davis. Off of Ferreira. Well, that was eye for an eye with a sneaky throw.
You got to play the full 90. You got to be awake the whole time.
But the question coming in, and the first week they drew 0-0 with Nashville. John Hackworth said we were going to get a shutout because we've been giving goals away like candy. And of late, Louisville's defense has rebounded a bit. As you've mentioned, they're still trying to avoid that inconsistency that in one playoff game will sink your hopes of winning a title.
You just can't afford to concede those goals. Certainly in games of late, prior to the North Carolina game when the team had to bounce back. It's TFC 2, Atlanta United 2. Games that were dominated by Lose City. Goals were conceded late to deny Dobrovolsky the shutout. And those will be frustrating for the coach and for the team.
McCabe sizing it up. McCabe off of Ferreira.
Right there, that's what Lancaster, Ownby, Davis IV give you. As McCabe's getting the ball and dribbling at the back line, the movement of those other three players, particularly Lancaster, the back four of Indy 11 just dropped off, inviting the shot from McCabe. In the end, he wasn't able to put it past Ferreira, but you can't allow that much space in front of you as a defender. Somebody has to step up and challenge the ball. But a lot of it is the movement from Lancaster.
Illich. Pushed upfield by Braun. Well, dangerous run. Wrong shoulder of Braun. Keeps it alive. Maris. Maris going one-on-one. Maris curling. Off target.
Paco Craig gambled, went to ground, didn't win the ball. Should have learned the lesson from Oscar Jimenez. He did that on the goal that North Carolina scored midweek. Curling effort was ambitious. There was space on that right flank. McInerney was open. Maris could have found him on that right side.
Ferreira ahead. Maris returns. Ferreira long. Braun slides down. McInerney had been fouled. Well, Indy 11 as a 5 seed. It's an incredible result to a season that sort of saw them revived over the offseason. Start of the year, talk was revival and rebirth. Only 3 holdovers in the team that competed last year. And in the first year in the United Soccer League, Indy 11 started with 9 goals in their first 10 games. They've scored a goal and a half per game since. Maris. Not a good clearance. McInerney, no. This is just fingertipped away by Ranjitsingh at the goal line from Braun. And a corner on the way.
Braun is disappointed. He couldn't get any more purchase on the shot. Great recovery from Ranjitsingh just to tip this one around the post. Better service. Swai and Ombi getting each other's way. Jimenez did just enough to thwart the effort of Braun. And Ranjitsingh was able to clean things up.
McInerney had thought that Illich was guilty of a handball. I think in the end the referee made the right call. Ensuing corner toward Ouimet. Jimenez, will this find Ombi? Can he control it? No, Venegas. Jimenez for Ombi, Venegas, and this surface is played even slicker seemingly than usual. Right-hand side of the field.
Venegas would be happy to get to the locker room. He's had a nightmare of the first 45.
A dominating challenge by McCabe. This is an Indy 11 defense that's had a lot of change over the course of the year with Tyler Pasher and Ayoze both dealing with intermittent injuries. Pasher is out at the present moment. Venegas primarily see outside. He's on the right-hand side right now.
Still really trying to get a feel for the way Indy 11 is set up. They certainly have 2 up front. Martin Rennie was going to try and put 5 across the midfield to give his team a numerical advantage. It seems like they flatten more to a 4-4-2 at times. Ayoze coming into the left back position. We're talking about how the team started for Indy 11. Martin Rennie is in our midweek conversation that they came so late to the party as far as getting the team together. It was tough to find players to put on the roster. So for as well as Indy 11 have done this season, it's credit to the coach and staff of Indy 11 and to the players that Martin Rennie found that they've been as successful as they have been.
Well, the funny thing about that, as we enter our first of 3 minutes of stoppage time, Davis, McCabe, Onby, Jimenez. Owen Fon-Williams, the first save. The follow-up is outside the net from George Davis. What a start to stoppage time, which is brought to you by Sullivan University.
That's the second one that Jimenez has lined up from the outside. The first one hit a defender. This one stung the hands of Fon-Williams. Positioning from the keeper was good. All he could do was parry it towards George Davis IV. He wasn't able to turn it on frame.
Well, Friose. Those Indy 11 equalized before halftime. It's part of the conversation about that North Carolina win for Louisville, that they went in quite deflated after conceding in the last 10 minutes of the first half. They trailed in that game.
Certainly the way the goal was conceded as well. Oscar Jimenez trying the slide tackle, didn't come off. Essentially it was a gimme. North Carolina had 3 or 4 players inside the 18 that could have finished the chance. Ended up being put in the back of the net from the ball played across the 6.
Wow, look at the effort from Indy 11. The ball for Braun, spin all the way out. Well, coming up at halftime, we got highlights and stats, our Commonwealth Credit Union roundup for a look at scores from around the league. Tell you about who's up and who's down in the USL Team of the Week. We'll take a look at what the Eastern Conference standings look like as well, as the much talked about USL rebrand. Louisville and Indy 11 will be part of the USL Championship next year. USL's Division 3 has been renamed USL League 1. The PDL as Davis handball. PDL is now USL League 2 starting in 2019. Maybe one more kick, not even. Halftime, India 1-0 lead, and for Cameron Lancaster, for the 13th time this year, he scores the opening goal of a game. Only the second penalty scored in his 25 goals. It's enough for a lead.
Well, Illich is normally the penalty taker for Lewis City, but it was enough for the lead. Perhaps a little bit fortunate to get the penalty, but no mistake about the finish. I think on the balance, Lewis City have had the better of the chances and deserve their lead at halftime, although Martin Rennie will be a little disappointed that his team haven't found the back of the net, because in the latter part of that first half, they had some great chances of their own.
Well, the Brickyard Battalion hasn't had all that much to cheer about in this opening half. Well, the Purple family has had their one moment. They were close a couple of times. Ilya Illich. Cameron Lancaster. Louisville 1-0 lead. Highlights, stats, a look at the table around the league when we return.
Complaining about your allergies won't make them go away, but calling Family Allergy and Asthma can. We offer the most effective treatments available to help you find relief. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family Allergy and Asthma.
We demand a lot from our trucks. We work, play, and practically live in them. Now, it's Toyota Truck Month, and Toyota has a great truck that's a perfect fit for you. Like the fun, fearless Tacoma, with the best resale value in its class. During Truck Month, get $1,000 cash back on a built-in-the-USA Tacoma, or lease one for just $269 per month. Toyota Truck Month. Find your perfect fit. Toyota, let's go places.
What does it mean to believe in something? To truly support and get behind it? To be committed and invested in making sure it succeeds and grows? At First Financial Bank, we go beyond banking. providing resources for dreams that matter, and giving back to projects that make a difference. As our family grows, our commitment to serve the community grows with it. First Financial Bank, because together, we're better.
Today we're here to talk about trucks.
I love trucks.
Wow. What truck brand comes from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road?
I think it's the Chevy.
Ford.
It's not Ford.
I think it's Ram.
It's not Ram either.
It's Chevy.
Gorgeous.
Get a total value of $10,000 when you finance with GM Financial. That's 20% below MSRP on this Chevy Silverado. Kentucky Drive Chevy. Find new roads.
Complaining about your allergies won't make them go away, but calling Family Allergy and Asthma can. We offer the most effective treatments available to help you find relief. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Welcome into tonight's halftime report. It's presented by your Kentucky Drives Chevy dealers. Find new roads. Louisville City 1, Indy 11-0. 45 minutes in the books. Back with Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts. We look at the updated Eastern Conference standings to give you a better idea of what we're looking at right now. The quirk, of course, being that Ottawa is not going to get in. North Carolina still has a chance, as there's a bit of a mistake there on what Ottawa's record is. But barring that, we know the top four are handled, and the rest of it, Matt, who knows?
Oh, there's so few points between 5 and 8. North Carolina do actually have a game in hand that they'll be playing later on, and if they're able to win that, they'll need some help and a lot of goals to overtake Bethlehem still, because the goal difference is 6 in the favor of the Steel at the moment. But certainly North Carolina will try and get the all-important win. One thing we do know, Otto Fury played themselves out of contention, losing today.
So after looking at those live standings in the Eastern Conference, a chance to remind you that the USL Championship doesn't mean what you used to think it meant. It's now the name of the USL's league as a whole in Division II. And perhaps most importantly, the entire USL has been vertically integrated with a whole new way of describing the game and the league that you love. A look inside, the rebrand you'll see plenty of in 2019. Welcome back to halftime. It's presented by your Kentucky Drive Chevy dealers. Find new roads. Louisville City 1, Indy 11-0. And Matt, you see the rebrand and what everything's going to look like moving forward around the league, and you don't need a logo explainer to say why people are so excited about it. Look at USL News and Notes, and rebranding only part of it. Lancaster and Ledesma, we're talking about records, and Lancaster has now scored 25. The MVP race, it's down to those two. Lancaster sort of forced himself in.
He certainly has. You might want to put the MVP trophy in between the two of them and let them scrap it out, because they've certainly laid claim to it. Lancaster's trying to put one hand on that trophy, but Ledesma, he scored goals and he also has the assists as well. He is a complete package, not to sell Lancaster short by any means, but Ledesma, he's done both sides of it, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's the player that gets the vote for MVP this season.
And the USL Cup playoffs is a ongoing game of musical chairs, as we'll talk about moving forward throughout the night. And then the USL rebrand. So the USL Championship is now USL as you know it. USL League One is the league to be launched next year in 2019, USL D3. And the PDL, the Premier Developmental League, is now the USL League Two. So one uniform way of describing the USL as an entire entity.
Puts the league more in line with the rest of the world, and I think it's just positive for the game of soccer in the United States of America and also in Canada. It's just tremendous the way that the USL is going about growing the game of soccer in this country, and we see it with the wonderful action week in, week out with these brilliant players that we get to call the games on behalf of.
And now for some scores around the league, our Commonwealth Credit Union Roundup. Charleston beating Ottawa in a must-win up in Ottawa. They are out.
That's a shame for Ottawa, but they had to win that game, weren't able to take care of business. Charleston, though, cementing their place in 4th spot in the Eastern Conference. What about Atlantic United, too? They've had a really good close of the season. I wish they started a little bit better, but they've certainly been a spoiler alert for them all over the last part of this season.
And then Charlotte, North Carolina, there's a spoiler potential there. And Cincinnati, Nashville is an important game, too. There's a record to be earned for Cincinnati if they can go undefeated in this final game. Our halftime continues with highlights and stats. It's presented by your Kentucky Drive Chevy dealers. It continues after this.
We demand a lot from our trucks. We work, play, and practically live in them. Now, it's Toyota Truck Month, and Toyota has a great truck that's a perfect fit for you. Like the legendary off-road 4Runner with active traction control. During Truck Month, get $1,000 cash back on a brand new 4Runner. Or get $2,500 cash back on a rugged, full-size, built-in-the-USA Tundra. Toyota Truck Month. Find your perfect fit. Toyota. Let's go places.
You know, I was excited to partner up with Baptist to do a training facility in Louisville.
We hired the right people to get the job done.
You can come here and hop into a group training, or if you want one-on-one training, we can focus on that. It's kids that want to develop and get some confidence to adults who are looking to join a class.
It caters to whatever you want to accomplish. Live, enjoy life, and just be healthy.
Isn't it time to finally do something about your allergies? Rush allergy shots at Family Allergy and Asthma can begin to work in as little as 1 day, so you can find permanent relief faster than ever. Don't wait to feel better. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Oh yeah, almost there. Just one more pull and tug. I love your parts. Grade A Allstate is the best.
You can pull it, or we can pull it for you. Come to Grade A Allstate Auto Parts, where you can get the right part at the right price, guaranteed. Don't forget, we buy autos and all your scrap metal recyclables. Register to win a car at one of our 3 state-of-the-art U-Pick and recycling facilities, conveniently located in Louisville, Shepherdsville, and Baghdad.
You know that coffee shop where people stand in line to pay twice as much for a cup of coffee as some other places? It's not always the lowest price that wins. It's the perceived value. Not every business has to compete based on price. At WDRB Media, we can show you how to brand your business, how to be more efficient with your media placement, and how to be more effective with your results. Give us a call. I'm Marty Hazel. If you knew what we know, you'd have called us already.
There's a reason everyone around here complains about allergies. They're bad. But family allergy and asthma can build up your immunity to what makes you miserable, ending your suffering for good. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family allergy and asthma.
Welcome back to tonight's halftime report, presented by your Kentucky Drive Chevy dealers. Find new roads. It's Louisville City up 1-0. Indy trying to find some playoff seeding help. They can win and stay in 5th, or perhaps bounce around with a loss. Louisville in the number 2 seed no matter what. Here are your first half highlights, and Louisville and Indy, possession-wise, about in the same realm. Louisville creating probably more opportunities on the whole. Ryan Ownby coming out of nowhere for this.
Ownby was in and amongst the action early and often with the shot. Von Williams made a decent save, but made a really good save down to his right. That wonderful header from Ownby. The services off the set piece weren't great from the visitors, but on that occasion, Iozzi delivered a good one, and McCabe made the fantastic save. Von Williams came up big again, able to deflect things away. Iozzi in amongst the action, deflecting the ball away at an important part of the match as well. And this one, Iozzi again involved. Ranjitsingh flapping, struggling with the bending ball from the number 7. And then turnovers. This was end-to-end stuff at this moment in the game. Illich did a fantastic job of picking out Davis the fourth. Von Williams with great footwork, getting to his right. And then immediately at the other end, a bad back pass from Smith. And McInerney won that one back, didn't even challenge the goalkeeper. Then controversy. Was it a penalty kick? Was it not? There was a trailing leg from Maris, but did Illich go down a little bit too quickly, too easily? That's for Stadop to be aware of and to be happy about. But there's no mistaking the finish from Lancaster.
Here are the halftime statistics, and the stats bear it out. Louisville, a few more opportunities in that opening half. We saw a lot better out of Brian Ownby than we've seen for much of the year, a guy who's got just 1 assist and no goals to his name in a year that's been marred by injury. Niall McCabe saving a sure goal from Indy 11 from the goal line off a set piece. And it's 1-0 to Louisville City at halftime. How about we, Matt, talk about the game? You and I get the luxury to call next week. We just don't know who it's going to be against.
Really excited to be on the court for the first round of playoff action next Saturday, October the 20th at 7:30 p.m. We know it'll be the boys in purple. Who will they face? Home fans won't care. There'll be a great voice behind that goal that Ranjitsingh will be defending in the second half of this one. It'll be great to see if the boys in purple can find a way to repeat as champions.
Let me make a pitch to Mayor Fisher and those who are involved in the construction today on I-65. Not next weekend. Take Saturday off.
Come and watch the game.
That's right. As Indy 11 making their way back out, and McInerney there pulling those sleeves down a little further. And Matt, it finally feels like October. This has been the weirdest weather year. Now here we are. It finally feels like fall, and you think this is basically what it felt like the night of the USL Cup in November last year. You do sort of feel like, you know, here we are. We're here, aren't we?
Certainly have. We've played through the summer, through the heat, through the hydration breaks. It seems a long, long time ago, back in March, when Louisville City were dealing with rain and desperate field conditions. We've done a wonderful job of playing through the season, and it's great to feel that nip in the air. Great soccer weather.
How about we take a look at how Louisville has come along over these last couple of weeks with that key offensive partnership between Cameron Lancaster and Illich while we have a moment. And you see them in the center of your screen, 14 and 9 respectively on the backs of their jerseys. And well, now it's 25 goals in under 2,000 minutes for Cameron Lancaster. But Ilya Illich has kind of been the forgotten man of sorts with 11 goals and 10 assists. He's broken out in a way that I think everyone except maybe James O'Connor would have been surprised by.
Well, he had to step up big when Lancaster went down with his injury earlier in the season, the shoulder problem that he had, and scored a lot of those goals. But those assists, because he's playing in that hole behind the center forward, he's able to make best use of the space and with his vision, he's able to create for his teammates, and did a really good job.
So McInerney ready to line this up. Let's take a look at tonight's VisionWorks, what to look for as we go to the second half of play. And let's go back to how we started things. For Louisville, you want to keep being creative and come up with different approaches. For Indy, it's all about, well, you got to get that defense.
I've got to play defense and make sure that they get the ball earlier than they have been. They've invited the pressure inside their defensive third and then struggled to get forwards consistently. And for Lou City, they have to make sure that they keep the creativity, keep the imagination going, and find the space with that imagination and exploit it in the attacking third and try and create more scoring opportunities.
And Matt, we talked about it at halftime. You'd like to see Indy 11 find that right side a little bit more. Part of that is quelling what Louisville did so well in the first half. Get those outside players up the field and pin back, whether it be Venegas on the right or Iose on the left.
Iose's been kept quiet except from the set pieces, primarily because of the way Davis IV and Carl Smith have gone forwards. And also with Omby on the left alongside Jimenez, it's difficult for Venegas to get forwards, but they have to find number 22 as they are now further up the pitch if they're going to get some balance in the attack and in kind keep Jimenez and Smith more honest and stay in the back four for Louisville.
This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Plainview Apartments. Glad you're with us wherever you're watching, including on ESPN Plus. Home to the USL Cup playoffs this year, leading up to the USL Cup final. It's November the 8th, Thursday night, on ESPN2 and ESPN International, a worldwide audience for the biggest game of the USL season. Louisville hopes they'll be there again, and realistically, it wouldn't be crazy to think they could host another USL Cup final should they get out of the East. Watson on the ground. Off the ad board. Did not test. Greg Ranjitsingh. You think about how things work in the East. If Louisville were to win here, they could potentially be third, fourth in line to host the USL Cup final.
If they're able to win tonight, that'd be on 67 points.
So Orange County could potentially be ahead of them, and Cincinnati they'd have to beat on the way there.
That's the only way they can make the final.
That's right.
Unless somebody takes care of Cincinnati on the way.
I think
either way, Lou City fans will be thrilled if it's Lou City that's in the final and Cincinnati or not.
I think a lot of people, if you think about who the most dangerous of that next four are, 1 to 4 is already decided. As Omby striding through, and a good sliding challenge is on point. And I would think probably Nashville is considered most dangerous of that next four. Would have to go on the road in the first round. I don't think Louisville's interested in seeing New York Red Bulls too. They've been a bit of a thorn in the side over the years.
Red Bulls too are such a difficult team to play against because the energy level is so high and they go forward so quickly.
By Braun. Omby foul from behind. Braun's the guilty party.
Matchup-wise, Nashville, some of their players would be difficult for Lou City to deal with as well. The speed in that Nashville team. Perhaps Bethlehem Steel or Indy 11 would be more favored for the first round matchup for Lou City.
You don't want to offend Charleston. A foul here against Indy 11. Think over the continued objection of Indy. Charleston was number 2 last year. They're number 4 in the East this year. And I think if you're Indy 11, you really want to win this game because you'd rather face them than anyone in the top 3.
Absolutely.
It's not like a toss-up. I think it's actually a pretty clear distinction.
The home field advantage is huge, especially for Lou City and for Cincinnati. And the Riverhounds are just so tough to break down defensively.
Oscar Jimenez ready to line this up, 50th minute. Louisville's goal came from the penalty spot at the 34th. Menez left it short, looking for Illich. Ball drops down. Lancaster continuing. Lancaster on the turn, trying to get the shot away. Lancaster goes down just outside the penalty area. A high hand got up in his face. It's going to be a yellow card to Ouimet.
Certainly spectacular the way that Lancaster fell to his back. His arm went straight up to his left shoulder, which is the shoulder that he hurt earlier in the season. Right on the edge of the box, ball just bouncing around. And the shoulder coming in from Ouimet. I think he's a little unfortunate to get a yellow card there, just trying to body up.
I think Indy 11 fans would rightfully have some words to say tonight about the officiating. Minimum, I think they can make a pretty substantial argument, right or wrong. Of course, I don't think anyone has a tougher job. Basketball's played on a pretty confined court, and there's more subjective calls, but the angles with which referees like Greg Dopka have to play here.
So Dopka looks like he might be sending somebody from the
Indy 11 bench off.
Saw him listening to messages from the fourth official and then giving a thumbs up and saying, yep, absolutely.
But you wouldn't point at the fourth official, then point to the dressing room either.
No. I mean, the way Mr. Dopka went towards the bench.
Well, this is Cameron Lancaster's favorite piece of realty.
It's interesting, he's moved the ball further out from the top of the box where the foul occurred, so he gets a little bit more room to get the ball up over the wall, but it has to come down quickly the other side.
Lancaster at this point essentially stuffing the ballot box. His golden boot seemingly already in the cabinet. It's Cameron Lancaster. Lancaster! Fawn Williams brought it down, Sawahi off the post. Well, somehow he did find a way to put that on target. Owen Fawn Williams, one of the few goalkeepers this year that's been able to keep Lancaster out.
Well, it's a good save. As a goalkeeper, you set yourself up so you can get across to the ball. Didn't have to move much, the goalkeeper, but parries it away. Kept it in the danger area by Illich. So he'll be disappointed he hit nothing but the post.
Jitsing drives it away. Obi tried to flick it onward, and Menez and Venegas get tangled up.
Venegas has struggled tonight to get on terms with the game.
Service here, headed away. Omby sidesteps, McCabe will launch. We'll have an update on the Cincinnati-Nashville game in a moment. McCabe slipping ahead, Illich! He and Fawn Williams, big collision on the back end, and they'll hug this one out.
There's the goalkeeping of Fawn Williams that denied Illich. He may have been caught in two minds whether he was going to put that one on frame or serve it across the six. Big smile from Ilya Illich as he retreats back to his half of the pitch.
Justin Braun has come out for Indy 11. Elliot Collier's come on loan from Chicago Fire.
impressive bench that Martin Rennie brought with him to Louisville City. With midfielders and forwards, just the one defender.
Substitution brought to you by Great Clips with Collier coming on for Braun. Jimenez comes forward. Carlisle Mitchell is unavailable today due to injury. And then you're without a bunch of other guys that could play in the back. Most notably Tyler Pasher, who's wow, look at this run by Lancaster. Bull in a China shot, ball's loose and crawling out and grabbing it. Fon Williams. Pasher was expected to be the linchpin on that right-hand side, the bookend to Ioze. Did not work out that way. Lancaster pushing ahead again. Nashville is taking a 1-0 lead against FC Cincinnati. Cincinnati have not lost in months. One of the most impressive runs in the history of USL, in which they broke the USL's win record. And Davis gets knocked down again right outside the penalty area. Free kick, Louisville.
Clumsy challenge from Ioze right at the top of the box. Dangerous opportunity. Favors a left-footed strike, though. From this angle of the pitch, I don't think Lancaster will want to give up the chance. Ioze shakes his head.
No, you take it. Yeah, fly on the wall here.
Looks like Del Piccolo's shaping for the shot.
Del Piccolo will take the shot. And with plenty of spin, go out for a corner. Tucker Hume scored for Nashville in that game against FC Cincinnati. Cincinnati will host the number 8 seed. Could be Bethlehem again. Could be Nashville. If the score stands, won't be Nashville. Put in play by Jimenez. Craig was the target. Bouncing. Louisville can't collect it. Here comes Indy. Charging forward. Collier. Collier leading the charge all by his lonesome. And Smith is there. Plays it out to touch.
Perfectly played by Smith. See Maris, trying to get forwards. That was the moment where the pass should have been made. Smith was able to just hold the run defensively long enough. When Collier took the extra touch, Smith was able to then deny the shot. It was really well done by the right fullback. Collier missed an opportunity with that 2v1 break.
It's with Louisville here. We've talked about who's missing for Indy. Louisville without Speedy Williams, Sean Francis with Jamaica for Nations League. Corner, Indy 11, the 59th. Header just touches off the crossbar. Collier was in the thick of it all. Looked like Ouimet was the one who met that.
Another good service. And moments after he made a great defensive play, Kyle Smith lets his player go. And Ouimet will rue that one. That should have been buried in the back of the net. You don't get many freer headers.
Collier was in pursuit. Lancaster gets climbed over by Ouimet. Ouimet, who played for New York Red Bulls under Jesse Marsh and under John Wallenick, USL Cup.
Always hate that call as a former defender myself. The forward hasn't moved, he's just kept his feet on the ground. Almost backed up into Ouimet. It's Ouimet that gets the call for the foul for going over the top.
Jimenez, nice ball through. Illich struggling to maintain that, and Venegas takes it away. I think Venegas might do well to be on sturdier ground in this second half.
It was so uncomfortable in the first half dealing with the artificial turf at the other end of the pitch. It doesn't get any easier when you're facing Jimenez and Omby.
Ownby using good speed to pour into the attack. Perfect challenge. Absolutely perfect. Ownby knocked off his feet.
John Hackworth doesn't agree with you. I tend to agree with John Hackworth on that occasion.
It's perfect if the referee doesn't blow his whistle. If he blows his whistle, it's a poor challenge.
It's not cheating unless you get caught, right?
That's absolutely right. Hack's a bit frustrated. Martin Rennie has shown his frustration as well.
It's about time that Indy 11 got a bit of the favor from the referee. It's a good build-up play, though. Lovely interchange of passes for Louisville City down this left flank. It sprung Ownby. Just simple, short, long passes.
Ownby, Lancaster running down the middle. Wide. Corner coming. Yeah, worthy applause. Ownby maybe finding himself a little bit. You said the service first half up and down at best.
Well, this was a good ball in. Ferreira, good credit to him for getting back defensively. It was a difficult chance for Lancaster to turn on frame, but lovely timing of the run from Ownby.
Manez. Boy, that was a strong-willed one-handed punch there. And Maris pushes up the field, keeping it through the challenge. Maris still. And this laced by McInerney. Deflects, corner on the way. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Luna Azul Tequila. They are the official tequila of Lou City.
Spencer's coming in. Lancaster, his night is done.
Well, he deserves a big round of applause, and he's going to get it. Golden boot in his sights. Surely it's his. 25 goals. And he'll pull the curtain down on the most dominant scoring season in United Soccer League history. A substitution by Great Clips, one that truly is going to be great. Service nodded aside by Craig Matern. Offside flag was up.
An offside position to play the ball. I'm not the best reader of body language, but I think Cameron Lancaster was a little frustrated to be coming off the pitch.
And Luke Spencer, who was, well, coaching the team while dealing with an injury earlier this year, 12 in purple in the middle of your screen, comes on now. He was the leading scorer for the Eastern Conference #1 offense last year. And this year with the injury, Lancaster's light shone just a little bit brighter. Spencer made a bigger impact as a tactician in the middle of the year than he did as a goal scorer. Listen to Andy Fleming, his coach at Xavier, speaks so highly of Luke Spencer. He's professional and what he brings. Was at the front of a 4-5-1 formation there. Much more of a target man than Cam. Very different players and two guys that could provide you a really solid different look in a playoff game.
really like what Luke Spencer brings to the table. It's a shame that in partnership with Lancaster, it's tough to get them on the field at the same time because of the different gifts that they have. But just to say that Spencer is purely and simply a target man, sells him short.
Change coming for Louisville. And that's enough for Ilya Illich. 11 goals, 10 assists on the year. Overshadowed for years, a trialist 4 years ago. And Illich's regular season is done. A substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's gonna be great. And the return of the Magnum, Magnus Rasmussen.
And it is great to see Rasmussen come back onto the pitch. Picked up an injury earlier in the season. Started off slow and then got into a good run of form just prior to the injury. See if he can get back to the standard of play that he was showing, the promise that he was showing before he went down hurt.
First time he's appeared since the second week of August, and this is turned over. Here comes Ownby. Ownby, nice cutback. Ownby trying to get the shot away. He'd run out of room, and Indy 11 had contracted together for a bit of a ring around him. McInerney. McInerney interesting in just how versatile he's been this year.
Watson trying to shoot through the gap from his central midfield role. Haven't really spoken about him at all tonight.
He's sort of had carte blanche on position, hasn't he? Ball through for Rasmussen. Von Williams will grab it. You and I saw a lot of Matt Watson, especially last year in Phoenix, where he captained the Rising to a playoff spot in the West.
There's no doubt of his abilities and his leadership that he brings to the team.
Collier striding on. Watson again getting forward, and he and Collier can't combine for the finishing product. Watson takes it away, and McInerney knew he was in an offside position, so Smith will kick it out.
It's just been a strange night for Indy 11. For me, they just haven't sorted out the middle area of the pitch that the midfield has been wanting.
Ownby, Jimenez, Spencer arriving. Jimenez downshifting. Ownby collects. Spins, fires for McCabe. Spencer forcing his way into the conversation. Rasmussen. Jimenez. Got it under Dopka, the referee. McCabe trying to let this run through. Rasmussen. Another great save by Von Williams. Artistic work tonight from the goalkeeper from Indy 11.
Trying to get all 5 spots on the save of the week. Voting this week. Good. Quickly down to his right, took the step forwards as Rasmussen pushed the ball to his left. An earlier ball from Ownby, just out of the reach of McCabe.
Jimenez. McCabe, who's performed well on the day. That was the big story of the last game. You're without Williams and Del Piccolo in the starting lineup. Maybe the first time in 2 years. You and I were talking about it. When's the last time these two guys both off the field at the same time? Touched aside by Spencer. Del Piccolo. Ownby. Ownby trying to curl. One off of Sawahi. Header back. Rasmussen. Davis. Davis, can he finish? Goes down. Play on. No whistle there.
That might have been a better shout for a penalty than the one that was awarded in the first half.
I'd agree. Ownby for Davis. And Venegas is there. Let's see if we can't get another look at the recent no call.
Well, Indy 11 just couldn't clear the danger. Matt Watson just putting that leg out, withdrew it though. I think that's the right call from the official. George Davis, the fourth, trying to sell it. There was contact, but not enough for me.
Menez near post. Indy 11 team that returns to the playoffs after last year putting up just 33 points in 32 games. With a largely reformed roster. And these two teams are buzzing right now with 20 minutes to play before the playoffs begin. They'll both be in the field. The question is who they'll play. Ownby floats it too far.
One thing on his mind. Ryan Ownby gets in the attacking third in the outside channels, just puts his head down, takes the defender on. And again, the service not up to the standard we're used to seeing from the number 10. Definitely feels like there's another goal in this game. John Hackworth will hope that it's one that puts his side up 2-0, gets some insurance.
Uh-oh, McInerney is coming slowly on. Ranjitsingh doesn't actually have anywhere to go right now. He's traditionally the second choice keeper for Trinidad and Tobago. Just dealt with what was termed a freak intercostal muscle injury in his rib cage. But Trinidad and Tobago, being a hexagonal team, the most recent World Cup qualifying, didn't have any Nations League to play in CONCACAF. In short, they were too good for it. U.S., for instance, playing Colombia. A large crowd in Tampa Bay. Sure, a lot of rowdy supporters made their way out to Raymond James Stadium for that. A handful of Colombian supporters made their way, I noticed.
Should be a good big crowd to support the national team. Lucky to see him go down to Florida and play.
Oh, Piccolo. There's Ranjitsingh. Still only 25 years old. Former 4-year starter at Mercer, state of Georgia. Attempt to flick that through. Nothing doing for Watson, but he recovers. Incredible second effort. Rasmussen comes in for Louisville. Davis, who's had his chances today, to say the least. Davis playing his best ball of late. Ownby. Louisville flocking forward. Smith! We've seen him can that shot before this year.
Scored not so long ago. Coming inside onto the left foot. This time he decides to stay on the outside and use his right. Good build-up play. Positioning there, Eviosi denied the space for Smith to come inside. Wasn't able to put it on target and trouble the goalkeeper.
Rasmussen, and there's McCabe. McCabe couldn't come through with it. Indy 11 charging forward. And the slip ball ahead, McInerney was in an offside position.
Feels like Moses and Watson trying to come alive in the center area of the pitch now for Indy 11. Standing where they are in the game, what their position is.
McCabe, there's room up here on the right. And the service floated way too long for Davis.
See whether Ownby switched to the right side, Davis moving over to the left. Certainly Ownby was more central on the park. Definitely feels like that change has been made. Davis the fourth is on this side.
Maris. The overlap arrived. Maris. Jitsing is on it. Up Updates elsewhere in the East. Atlanta has knocked off Richmond in the Kickers' final game in USL. They'll move to USL League One in 2019. Ball for Spencer. Spencer slipping back. Venegas. No whistle here. He may have gone down a bit too easy. Certainly contact, no question.
Well, it's definitely contact, but it's shoulder to shoulder. Spencer went down a lot very easily then. Nice footwork from the number 12 to get himself some space, looking to serve the ball across. Venegas getting back defensively, but still not his best night of work for the outside back for Indy 11 tonight.
Penn FC and Toronto FC2 will both leave the USL Championship as it'll be termed next year. They finish with a quiet 0-0 draw. Charlotte and North Carolina are in the final 10 minutes. And it looks like Charlotte is going to play ultimate spoiler to North Carolina. It's 1 goal apiece there, and as it stands, that would eliminate North Carolina. And that would complete the field. Then it would just come down to where Indy, New York, Nashville, and Bethlehem all line up. Better yet, where they have to travel on Friday for their games on Saturday. There's an appeal for offside. McInerney's looking over. I don't think he knows whether or not he's onside. Craig will have to go back and get this.
Well, he was definitely in offside position, but the rule is the flag doesn't go up until the player's involved in the play, and McInerney just curtailed his run, forcing Craig to chase the ball back. Hence the whistle never came because McInerney just gave up on the play.
Rasmussen goes to ground. Ball for McInerney. Looks like a...
I thought Craig was going to get caught for a handball. The flag goes up instead for an infraction on Indy 11.
Juan Guerra coming on. That's enough for Nico Matern. Closes out his 26th and final start 2018. Guerra's 25th appearance.
Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. So that Guerra can have an impact alongside Watson, Maris, and Moses in the center area of the pitch for Indy 11.
Ownby. Challenge from behind. Moses whistled for a foul. Referee reaching for a card. Third yellow this year on Seth Moses.
Ownby had the ball at his feet, was getting ahead of steam up. There's confirmation of the yellow card to Moses. He just picks it up, and the slide tackle attempt is made. Collects nothing but the legs of Ownby. Easy call for Mr. Dobka.
Meanwhile, I think Cameron Lancaster is drooling on the sideline at the sight of this.
Told you he was unhappy to be taken off.
I think John Hackworth was just trying to get him to stretch those bones out before the playoffs. Anything he got to his goal scoring account, just an added bonus. One would think Jimenez here. Jimenez steps over. Davis, watery turn ball. Jimenez broke down in the end. That was right off the training ground. Del Piccolo rolled across the top of the 18 and made that interesting for all.
It was well worked, but the delivery on the final pass had a lot of spin on it. Jimenez, like a wide receiver trying to catch that ball over his shoulder, was unable to read the spin of the ball.
Rasmussen tried to tap further. Jimenez swirling around the feet of Spencer. Ownby. Guerra and Watson held up by Rasmussen. Change coming. Sean Tosh on for Alexi Sawahi. Sawahi's rookie season in the regular season is done. Goes just over 1,500 minutes this year. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's gonna be great. And Ben Spees to enter for Indy 11. And that will complete Indy 11's 3 substitutes. And Louisville used all 3 of theirs. So the 4th official is just about done. Moses comes off. He was playing on a yellow card. Substitution. Spees for Moses, brought to you by Great Clips. Ownby. Ripped down by Maris. Ownby has been a handful in a way that we had not seen really since last year. A yellow card to Maris.
Grabbing hold of the arm of Ownby, trying to slow down number 10 again as he just gets his head down and attacks the final third in the outside channel. He's so much confidence, such ability. And the final product, final delivery just needs to be a touch better from him to complete the package this season. Flag going up on the far side from the assistant. Maris has had a decent game. He's frustrated with that effort. Now for Lou City, can they manage the end of the game? It's part of the improvement that John Hackworth wants to see from the boys in purple.
Jimenez looking for Tosh. Really, we first heard that rallying cry about finishing games when Louisville lost a 2-goal lead to Pittsburgh, settled for a draw. As we take a look at tonight's Toyota move of the game, let's go places. George Davis, see ya.
Lovely footwork on this near sideline. Turning Iozzi inside and out, trying to get into the box. Great footwork on his toes, slowing the play down, change of direction, change of speed. Well done from George Davis IV. He's played a lot of confidence in this his 200th season, where he's completed 200 appearances, I should say. I almost said his 200th season. He wouldn't thank me for that. Would be one heck of an accomplishment, though.
Right. That's record worthy for sure.
Not sure he'd be on the pitch.
200 years?
Yeah. Wouldn't have quite the same moves.
Here comes Ownby trying to race by Collier. Collier goes to ground. He got his ankles clipped. Iozzi has some words for Ownby as well. Ownby won the College Cup with Virginia in 2009, drafted by Houston. Time at Richmond, Pittsburgh, now Louisville. Had 3 goals in the playoffs last year, and that's really why it's so important how he performs down the stretch, because last year Louisville assuredly doesn't win a title without the goals he scored. Really not the first game, but the games after that.
Even if he's not able to put the ball in the back of the net, the amount of times that he gets in the attacking third, in that outside channel, if you can get the delivery right, Louisville will then get the goals on the back of his assists. With his creativity, what will end up happening is the opposition will have to send an extra defender out to mark Ownby or to challenge on the double team, which will in turn create more space centrally for Lancaster and Illich to try and exploit. Again, the delivery has to be there.
This will be a goal kick for Fawn Williams. 6'4" native of Wales. Termed in one article, Wales perennial unused sub. 6 years being called up to the national team and did not play once in that span. Guy has played over 400 games in the United Kingdom. As it turned out, precisely what Indy 11 needed at the start of the year in goal. Guy who would provide the right approach, the right personality. Corner coming for Indy 11. Indy's been able to turn to Carl Ouimet and Carlisle Mitchell, Iose, among others, provide one of the top 5 defenses in the Eastern Conference this year. They've held Louisville to 1, the East's #1 offense. And if they find an equalizer here, they can begin to dream of a late game winning goal. Bouncing ball struck on the volley by Maris. Let's take a look at a key shot presented by Family Allergy and Asthma. If allergies are making you miserable, allergy shots from Family Allergy and Asthma might do the trick. Visit FamilyAllergy.com.
Early in the game, Brian Ownby coming from the outside left position, arriving late, struck the ball well, bouncing in front of Fawn Williams. The goalkeeper was up to the task, and more than up to the task. He positioned his wall just right, positioned himself even better. And a good save to his left after that effort from Lancaster.
Spees, who's been quiet. Craig returns to sender. Spencer got all over Ouimet. That's a boxing match I would pay money to watch, those two. Watching those guys for 90 minutes must be like Ali Frazier. Iose feathering it over the back line. Iose's second ball, lofting. Smith out of room. He and Ferreira are pushing out of play. Ferreira and Del Piccolo having words.
That one might be on the undercard. Coming in, Smith with the hip check, sending Ferreira into the advertising hoardings. Not sure why Del Piccolo was getting involved with that, but
Ownby. Brian Ownby. Looked like he was going to go for it all. Guerra dissuaded him. Ownby trying to come in here. Make it a bit more difficult. Spencer in the end gave chase. Rasmussen in pursuit. Ferreira.
feels a little that Spencer's trying a little too hard up top, going away from the middle area of the pitch. Might be a little bit of what Indy 11 are giving. was the foul that was called against Collier. And Spencer, if he could hold his position more centrally, he'd be more utilized as the target a little bit better. Certainly when that ball's played out wide and Ombi's looking to serve it in, it'd be great to have the number 12 as a target.
Stoppage time brought to you by Sullivan University. 4 added minutes separate Louisville from the end of the regular season, and a date next Saturday night here at Slugger Field, with an opponent to be determined. It could wait until tomorrow. Bethlehem score will almost assuredly play a role in the bottom couple spots in the standings. Pushing ahead, McInerney tried to square it up for Ouimet. Cameron Lancaster's goal, as it seemingly has all year, the difference is 25th of the season, a league record, just his second on a spot kick. Service from McInerney over Watson. Craig. I think Louisville may do well to try and possess this ball a little bit more. Seem a bit unnerved at the moment.
The foibles that they've had at the end of games throughout this season, it's understandable why.
Clip back by Spees. Spees tried to pirouette, knock that in. Now the cross, players flying to ground. Spencer fouled halfway through stoppage time.
Nice smile between the players. Rare and Spencer. It's got to be tough for a referee. Body's hitting the deck inside the penalty box, slipping on the surface. Wondering if there is contact or not. This will give Ranjitsingh the opportunity to put the ball as far away from him as he possibly can. Trying to find a teammate in purple.
Davis. Jimenez is coming. Another 90 seconds. Does Indy find an equalizer here? Down by Collier. And will Indy be in better shape next week, regardless of opposition? Watson is pointing for a corner. Collier is too. It is a goal kick for Louisville. Collier is jumping up and down.
So, I'm surprised it wasn't a corner kick. The ball took a strange bounce.
Win here, Louisville will move to 66 points. As it stands now, they would be second in line to host the USL Cup. Stick around post-game. We'll get you ready for the playoff match. Show you the goal. Has Louisville seemingly through. Does Indy find an equalizer here at the death? Or will Louisville add one more? Ownby. Ownby one more time. Has not scored in the regular season. Ownby back to his feet. Wide, and that's it. Louisville wins their finale in the regular season. Indy will have to wait and see the results around them to know where they stand in the East. And Louisville already knew they were the number 2 seed, but now, pending results from Phoenix and Orange County, They are the second best team in USL this year, and if they're to reach the final, it would be in Louisville. Highlight stats and more coming up after this.
We demand a lot from our trucks. We work, play, and practically live in them. Now, it's Toyota Truck Month, and Toyota has a great truck that's a perfect fit for you. Like the fun, fearless Tacoma, with the best resale value in its class. During Truck Month, get $1,000 cash back on a built in the USA Tacoma, or lease one for just $269 per month. Toyota Truck Month. Find your perfect fit. Toyota, let's go places.
Our GE appliances come with a, you can't choose your neighbors, but you can choose your premium finish.
Ooh, you got the black stainless. Sleek, thanks. I need your help with the backsplash.
There are lots of ladies that miss minutes.
Oh, that's nice, sweetie. Maybe something stone or...
3 pizza guys just showed up. Now the pizza guys just took off their shirts.
The most premium finishes, so you have the most choices. Another way we make good things for life.
At Dr. Mark Lennon Associates, I focus on taking care of my family, but I also focus on taking care of your family. We firmly believe that you've got to give back. Our primary goal is to do what's right for the patient. If that means glasses, contacts, or treating an eye condition, we will be sure you get the care that you need. We want to take care of you the same way we take care of all our family. This is our family. And here at Dr. Mark Lennon Associates, we're focused on your family, the community, and most importantly, your vision.
Welcome back post-game. There is the man of the hour, goal number 25 of the most prolific scoring season in USL history. Does this one from the penalty spot as he is on the verge of the USL Golden Boot. The Brickyard Battalion will head back to Indy without points, and they'll have to wait and see what happens beneath them now. Let's take a look at full-time highlights between Louisville and Indy 11, Matt. And for Louisville, it was, well, a brick wall named Owain Fawn Williams in the first half.
Fawn Williams played well throughout the match. It was a good save that he made on that opportunity. Miosi helped him out with an important left-footed opportunity, clearing the ball. And then a terrible mistake in the back. Illich wins the ball, picks out Davis the fourth. Davis the fourth picks out the corner, but Fawn Williams is covering that corner. And then just seconds later, another mix-up in the back. And there's McInerney. I'll be really disappointed that he didn't put that one on frame. There was controversy over the awarding of the penalty kick, but the finish of that kick taken by Lancaster, of that there was no doubt. Calmly put in the back of the net with the right foot. Fawn Williams gets to his left, and Lancaster with the 25th goal of his season. Indy 11 had some good chances, didn't test Ranjit Singh nearly enough. The set pieces weren't taken with nearly enough consistently on the service. And then Lancaster had a great opportunity, well saved off of the free kick by Fawn Williams. Suahi hits the upright with his follow-up. Miosi was a bright spark. We met. How he got that open, I don't know. How he missed the goal, only he can tell you. Ombi was bright down both flanks. Finds Lancaster. The ball was deflected wide for a corner kick by Ferreira, who played well in the central area of the pitch for the visitors, but it wasn't enough. And it's the home team that wins by 1-0, and they look forward to next weekend.
So North Carolina won. They're now on 47 points. Bethlehem needs to lose by 4 tomorrow to give North Carolina a chance. Nashville right now would be the opponent. If they beat Cincinnati, it would be New York. But New York has a result to play as well. So a lot to figure out, and you'll see it all. Go to LouCityFC.com or USLsoccer.com, and you can figure out who you're buying tickets to see on Saturday night. It takes a village. It always does. Throughout the regular season, our thanks to countless who work at the field, at Vista World Link, at home, and, well, in the elements. For Matt Stubbington and Jared Valentin, Director Jose Bueso, Producer Ava Ponte, Mike Watt saying so long. And the playoffs begin next Saturday at Slugger Field. Louisville City has their golden man score again. His 25th Louisville winner, 1-0. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.